There. It's June 27th and time for Proverbs 27. Now we're still in the Solomon's Proverbs that were copied down by King Hezekiah's men, King Hezekiah of Judah. And some we've heard before. Some maybe we haven't. So, you remember Jesus talking about this first chapter, this first verse? Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring forth. Today has enough problems of its own. That's what Jesus said. 2, let another praise you, not your own mouth, a stranger, and not your own lips. Right? If you praise yourself, that's called pride, right? Nobody likes pride. The Lord God especially doesn't like pride. Okay? Humble. 3, a stone is heavy and the sand weighty, but the provocation of a fool is heavier than both of them. Fools who wrath, provoking. Right? That's what these protesters do. They provoke people to do stupid things, right? Or wrath is fierce and anger is a flood, but who can stand before jealousy? Right? Now, jealousy that is betrayal of somebody you loved and trusted. Okay, that's what causes jealousy. It says envy over here, but envious are obstinate, cannot be reconciled. Envy and jealousy are two different things. Envy is being jealous over somebody. He has something better than me. A nicer car, a bigger house, a better job. You can't do anything about that. 5, better is open rebuke than love that is concealed. Somebody loves you, they never show it, they never tell you, they never do anything, right? Open rebuke. That's why some children are always getting in trouble, just to get the attention they want to be. They don't want to be spanked, but they want the attention because love is never shown. So they go out of their way to just get attention, right? Open rebuke. That. 6, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but deceitful are the kisses of an enemy. They're flattering and seem friendful, but they want to do something evil to you, right? 7, a sated man, that's full, right? Lows honey, satiated, right? Sated, full stuff, and need another thing. Lows honey, but to a famished man, any bitter thing is sweet. Just the facts. There's a note here, too. Soul. They stated troll samples on honey. Hey, like a bird that wanders from her nest, so is a man who wanders from his home. What happens when a bird wanders from her nest? Predators come in. Steal, kill, and destroy. 9, oil and perfume make the heart glad. So a man's counsel is sweet to his friends. Man's counsel, sweet to his friend. Hearty counsel. I think that's better. 10, do not forsake your own friend or your father's friend, and do not give to your brothers. Do not go to your brother's house in the day of calamity. Better is a neighbor who is near than a brother far away. This comes up every month, and I think about it. My brother lives 750 miles away from me. I have friends that are 20 minutes away. Okay? That's where you want to go. 11, be wise, my son, and make my heart glad, that I may reply to him who reproaches me. Right? If you teach your kids to be wise and honest and sincere, and somebody else comes and tells you they're otherwise, you can reply to them and say, no, that's not my son, right? 12, a prudent man sees evil and hides himself. The naive proceed and pay the penalty. Right? Simple, naive fools, right? It says sees the plague over here. Right? You see this stuff going on? Don't go there, right? Hide yourself, right? Don't go to the big cities where all these protests and lootings and burnings are. Okay? 13, take his garment when he becomes surety for a stranger, and for an adulterous woman hold him in pledge. Don't co-sign, okay? Solomon talked about this in just about every third chapter. So, 14, he who blesses his friend with a loud voice early in the morning, it will be reckoned a curse to him. Right? There's somebody sleeping and you're out there making noise. Even if you're blessing them, right? They're not going to be happy that you woke them up. Constant dripping on a day of steady rain and a contentious woman are alike. He who would restrain her restrains the wind and grasps oil in his right hand. Solomon had those problems, right? He did. 17, iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. This is important, right? I wanted to be a good computer technician when I was younger, so I hung around computer techs, okay? Went to school, learned how they worked, learned from other computer techs, okay? I learned mechanics from my father, who was a race car mechanic, right? And a gas station mechanic a lot of the times, but he knew cars. The kind of mechanic who could tell what was wrong with the car just by listening to it before you open the hood, right? Hang around with somebody like that and you'll learn stuff, okay? If you want to be wise in the Bible, hang around people that are wise in the Bible. Iron sharpens iron. 18, he who tends the fig tree will eat its fruit, and he who cares for his master will be honored. Okay? Now this, he who tends a fig tree will eat its fruit, right? It was a law back then that your workers were allowed to eat on the fruit on the trees that they were tending and pruning. Had to let them do that. Okay? 19, as in water, face reflects face, so the heart of man reflects man. Your heart reflects who you are. You can tell. Love the footnotes in this Bible. There is no difference between a man and a man by nature, but only by the grace of God maketh the difference. Interesting, huh? Joel and Abaddon are never satisfied, nor are the eyes of man ever satisfied. Right? The problem with most of the world today is in this verse, right? Joel and Abaddon, place of destruction. The grave and destruction can never be full, nor the eyes of man ever satisfied. Most people aren't rich because they're not satisfied. Okay? The key to being rich is to be satisfied, right? You have everything you need. You have food, you have shelter, you have the Lord. You shouldn't need anything else, okay? Give us this day our daily bread. Problem comes when the eyes of man are never satisfied. You always want something bigger, something brighter, something shinier, something newer, right? When the old works just fine. Read. There. 21, the crucible is for silver and the furnace for gold, and each is tested by the praise accorded him. Though you pound a fool with mortar and pestle along with crushed grain, yet his foolishness will not depart from him. Do those go together? I don't know. I don't think so. That is, he is either known to be ambitious and glorious or humble and modest. Man according to his dignity. Tested by the praise accorded to him, says according to his dignity over here, right? Dignity, praise. I have to think on that one. Each is tested by the praise according. Think about that one. Cool. Yeah, we did that one. 23. Now these all go together, okay? Know well the conditions of your flocks and pay attention to your herds, for riches are not forever, nor does a crown endure to all generations. When the grass disappears, the new growth is seen, and the herbs of the mountain are gathered in. The lambs will be for your clothing, and the goats will bring the price of the field. And there will be goat's milk enough for your food, for the food of your household, and the sustenance of your maidens. Yeah. Now, the first ones are important. Know well the condition of your flocks, and pay attention to your herds, for money doesn't last forever, right? Now, this is what they used for their income, their livelihood, flocks and herds. Today, it's jobs and bank accounts, right? You should know well the condition of your finances, right? Pay attention to the stocks, the stuff you have. Do you have enough to last? Do you have enough to last if something happens? Yeah. It's important to know this stuff. It's important for men to know this stuff. Okay, men are held responsible. Okay, ultimately, you let the wife run everything and say, "Do we have money for this?" You should already know, because the men will be held responsible. Right? God holds the man responsible for the woman, for his wife. You know that? Pay attention to your accounts, your stocks, your finances, your bills. Okay? So there you go. That's Proverbs 27. But check out the highlights here. Okay. I highlighted this because Jesus used to talk about this. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a brain may bring forth. Did I not the time to take occasion when it is offered? Right. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Don't boast about tomorrow. Okay. 2 is important. Let another praise you and not your own mouth, a stranger and not your own lips. Be humble. Right? Honor comes when somebody else notices and builds you up. Not when you build yourself up. That's pride and arrogance, and nobody likes that. Especially God doesn't like that. Okay? Word here, provocation. Says here, a fool's wrath. The provocation of a fool is heavier than stone and sand. Being provoked, somebody playing on your feelings, trying to get you angry. That's why it says stay away from that, right? Wrath is fierce and anger is a flood, but who can stand before jealousy? Jealousy cannot be appeased, right? Once it's done, it can't be undone. Okay. You can forgive and move on, but that will remain. Okay. 5, better is open rebuke than love that is concealed. And we talked about that. Okay. Love that is concealed, secret love. Right? Somebody loves somebody, but they never show it, right? Never do anything. Person doesn't know. Right? Open rebuke is better. He says some kids get into trouble just for the attention that it brings them. Okay? They crave attention. They crave love. They can't get love. And they notice if they do something bad, they get attention. Right? Even though it comes with spanking. Kids need attention. Okay? That's what I get from that verse. A sated or a full person who just eaten loaves honey, but to a famished man any bitter thing is sweet. Any bitter thing. And do not forsake your own friend or your father's friend, and do not go to your mother's house and your brother's house in the day of your calamity. Better is a neighbor who is near than a brother far away. Right? Now, if your brother lives next door or down the street, right? Most of us have friends. All right. I live away from my family. My family lives way up in Ohio. I live way down in Georgia. So I have friends down here. I mean, if calamity struck, I have friends I could go to. Right? Instead of going 750 miles away. 12. A prudent man sees evil and hides himself. The naive proceed and pay the penalty. Prudent man sees evil and hides himself. What is that? Provocation of a fool is heavier than sand and stones. Right? A prudent man doesn't go for the provocation, right? He sees that evil and hides himself. Gets away from it. The naive, the simple, it says, right? Proceed and pay the penalty. Right? We talked about this. Iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Right? You want to do something, find somebody that's doing it well, right? Ask them to teach you. Right? You can learn from each other. Okay? As in water reflects, face reflects face, so the heart of man reflects man. People can see by your actions where your heart is, okay? And the heart is, I mean, they said it's evil among all things. The heart is the most evil. Okay? God can purify your heart if you ask him. It's a process, and it can be painful, but it can be done. Oh, sorry. Yeah, teeth. Know that. If you're evil inside, people know that, okay? You're not hiding. You're not hiding anything. Okay? Key verse. Sheol and Abaddon, death and the grave are never satisfied, nor are the eyes of man ever satisfied. It's never good enough, is it? You see people that are happy and content with what they have, and they're always joyful, and they're a joy to be around. Right? Those are people whose eyes are satisfied. But most people, eyes of man, are never satisfied. It's never enough. You never have enough, right? That's a horrible thing. Okay. That one we're going to look into. Right? Each man is tested by the praise accorded him. It says according to his dignity over here. That is, he is either known to be ambitious and glorious, or humble and modest. I'll take humble and modest, right? And then this part. I highlighted it because it all goes together. Put it in today's words. Know well the conditions of your finances. Pay attention to your stocks, food supplies. Riches are not forever, nor does the crown endure to all generations, right? The grass disappears, and the new growth is seen, and the herbs of the mountains are gathered in. The lambs will be for your clothing, and the goats will bring the price of a field. I see notes over here for this. This declareth the great goodness of God towards man, and the diligence that requireth of him for the preservation of his gifts. Good diligence. I think diligence into there, right? It requires diligence, okay? taking care of things, always being there, watching it. And you'll have plenty. Okay? If you love the Lord and follow the Lord, you will always have enough. Okay? It's learning to be satisfied with enough. Then you will be rich. Okay? There you go. That's Proverbs 27. A couple more chapters of the Hezekiah's men, and then we will be into Agur's words, my favorite. 30 is my favorite chapter in Proverbs. So stay tuned later today. We are in the book of Acts. Okay. Deep in the history. And we'll do that. We're on like day 178, I think, or something like that. And give us a like if you think about it. And tomorrow we'll do this again. See you later.